just gonna walk around a little bit in the front while we wait for other people to join. Thanks for joining, everybody. This is the front of my yard, my front yard. Hi everyone. Like I said, I'm walking around on my cul-de-sac. I'm walking in the front. This is the kind of the parkway view. Some of the plants are dead and I just haven't had time to cut them down or trim them, so you know, it's not always pretty. But that was a clary sage. Everything in the front yard is edible, medicinal, or California native, and most of the California natives are out here in the front. So yeah, oh, there's a monarch. So if you saw my earlier stories, our property is a registered monarch way station. We're also a certified wildlife habitat. We have housing like the bee hotel, and I put out water, and we do a lot of things trying not to remove brush so that wildlife and insects can live in there, you know, but still, you know, this is my cul-de-sac, still trying to maintain a nice neighborhood. This is one of the most fun plants. My like 80-plus-year-old neighbor always laughs when she walks by. This is called hairy balls milkweed. Milkweeds are the only non-native or non-edible plant in my front yard. So these are the seed pods. So when they're ready, the balls burst and the seeds disperse. I have some California natives over there, native with milkweed. They're a little smaller. So yeah, this garden, or the front yard garden, was installed in February of 2018. Then we went overseas for about 4 weeks and then came back and finished it. So we really didn't install these raised beds until April or May of 2018. And look how it's grown. My philosophy in the garden is to kind of just let nature do its thing. I mean, there are certain things that are planned, but if something wants to volunteer and grow a little wild, I'll let it grow like that and see how it does. Because, you know, I think nature tells you a lot. So over here I have a variegated African basil. This is my moringa. We have a lot of bees now just because we have this front yard garden. I was walking up here on my neighbor's driveway because this is a kind of place I just randomly planted some corn. I just harvested some glass gem, and I wanted to show you my swale. This is essentially a drain, and the roof water comes down when it rains and goes down here, and it just captures water without wasting it and going down to the sewers. So, but this is, yeah, so anyway, I don't water a lot. Sometimes, especially in the wet season, we don't need to because the swale just picks up water. Walking on the swale now. I have 5 raised beds in the front. They're a little different size in some areas. And these, I am so proud of myself. I've built these by myself, except I just can't figure out what to grow on there because this area, the sun rises from this side and goes like this in the afternoon. And this area where these red planters with the built-in trellises, they don't get light until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's been a challenge for me. So right now it's just laying fallow, and I do a lot of chop and drop, and you know, it's mulch. Down here it's kind of like a crazy patch of comfrey, chamomile. This is called self-heal. It's really great for your skin. And just, yeah, some things that need to come out, like my tomatoes here, the dark galaxy. Got some, that's a native leaf cutter bee, by the way, on the oregano. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I got some edamame, more hairy balls. Look just how beautiful these hairy balls are. This is holy basil or tulsi, Vanna tulsi, and there's kapur. And then, oh sorry, back here I have lemon balm. It's great. Lemon balm's great anxiety, especially like right now. Right now there's nothing much here, but usually in the spring this is just full of nasturtiums. I've been trying to get some gooseberry and roselle or hibiscus growing here. And these are some rare sweet peppers. These are called ajvarski, and I have other peppers, and I got my cucumbers. They're a little wilty because of the heat today and lately. So we have a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna walk you to the back. So excuse, it's a homestead. It's messy, I'm busy, don't always keep up. I got some dahlias you know, nothing's picture perfect, you know, keeping it real. I've got some spider mites on my dahlias, and these cucumbers are on their way out. They're a Japanese variety called Aonaga Jibai. More volunteer, hairy balls, milkweeds. This is the messier, oh, mountain of mulch. Okay, and we're gonna walk to the back where I'm gonna show you, this is the work area. This is my chicken feed area where I mix and store our chicken feed. I do custom mix them. And this is Guy Human's COVID vacation project. This is our hill. So what we did is, you see those wood posts? We divided the yard so that we have a non-chicken zone and a chicken zone. Where I'm standing is the non-chicken zone, and on the other side is a chicken zone, because we free range our chickens. And it's hard to see, but this incline is about 30 to 40 degrees. So, and everything that we built here in the garden, what we're calling the Garden of Eden, is made out of reused, reclaimed, sustainable materials. We didn't really buy anything new at all, except for a few of those rebars. And Guy Human's making me my greenhouse. All the windows were free. The wood pieces he did have to buy new. It was already a space that was here, and we ripped out the old shed. You can even see from here it's bowed because of the old structure. And hello everyone for joining. Hi. This is our orchard side. There's still not a lot, just a lot of immature trees where I put some also beans down just to see what it would do, because I have to water anyway. The trees are citrus that I grafted. So every time you see a little silver tag, that's a graft. Grafting a tree is awesome because you basically get a free tree, or you get a multi-Frankenstein tree. So if you have a small space, which is what we had before, even though we have a large property, workable space was like impossible until we put in the Garden of Eden, because the hill, I'm pretty flat now, but that's the incline. So, and it's pretty dangerous up here without stairs. All these stairs are made out of plywood, and we did buy these tiles because there just wasn't any for free at the time when we were looking. So eventually, to put more tropical fruit trees, put some stuff up there. Oh yeah, and back here behind this wall is a street, and you can see some jerk face through trash. I did find some syringes once too. Not pretty. So yeah, there's nothing up here yet. This will be like a later phase, but this is a monster squash that just took over. If you saw my stories earlier, in my guest bedroom, I had 2 giant squashes, and it comes from this vine, and I have like 3 or 4 more of these. So now I'm walking back down so we can look at the bean tunnel. The one good for your skin, the herb, it's called self-heal, or Prunella vulgaris. And also plantain grass is good for healing skin too. Like if you have itchy bites or whatever, that's a great one to put on your skin. So this is my bean tunnels, mostly growing. The first one is fresh beans. These are my purple yard long beans. And on this side, I got a bunch of blue lake beans. So these are the fresh beans. And then the second and third tunnels are dry beans. And down here, to make use of space, I also have some dragon tongue beans. I'm letting this one go to, it's going to become seed that I save. So you always want to do that to be more sustainable. Leave a few to mature so you can have seeds, and that way you don't have to buy new ones. So like this is dried now. This is going to become seed stock for next year, and so is this. So, and then just some random tomatoes. Like I said, we started this in March, and now look at all this. And this, the dirt in the grass. Sorry, the roosters want to say hi. They won't let me talk. The dirt was really piss poor. We have really heavy clay dirt, and some of it was fill sand. And I'm surprised these beans have gone this well. But partly is we took out all the litter from the chicken coop. We use a method called deep litter and just put it down, and the plants are loving it. And I also started with beans because they are nitrogen fixers and they'll help. These are beautiful. They're Cherokee Trail of Tears black beans. And down here, they're having a crow off. Down here we have sweet potatoes. Okay, I'm gonna read questions real quick because I was in the sun and the glare. I could not see the questions, so let me scroll real quick while you guys look. I'll try to pan and scroll at the same time. Tropical fruit. Yes, I am aware of the tropical. The question is tropical fruit. Have you checked out CRFG, the California Rare Fruit Growers? I do know who they are, but my dad actually has a lot of connections with tropical fruit, and so I'm getting a lot from him. And one of the tropical fruits actually we have, let me try to get to it because my beans are covering it. This is the Romanized way is Longan, Longan, but I have a hard time pronouncing it that way because we pronounce it Longyan. So it's Longyan. It's very juicy and it's similar to lychees, but tastier in my opinion. This is a Santa Rosa plum, and I did graft on it last year and it was successful, but I accidentally cut off the graft because I was careless. These are some oats that I'm testing out, and just different bee balms and stuff. More Cherokee Trail of Tear beans, and at this end, I forget what this is. Oh, this is a pluot. It's still really young. And we have some different peppers down here. These are jalapeno peppers, or sweet jalapenos, and I have some cayenne. These are loaded with cayenne peppers, and I have some naughty teenagers down there. And over here, I walked all of this way because I wanted to show you the grapes at the edge. We still need to install water. So the idea is to do more tiers and then plant grapes so that all the grapes climb all over this, and we'll have a grape wall, and whatever's on our side would be ours, and whatever's on this side, the dino beasts can eat it. So, and there's another huge pumpkin down here. Oops, hold on, I got tangled. What was a method I use from chicken poo? It's called deep litter. We'll walk to my coop in a second and I'll show you how it's done. And basically it's a natural way of kind of utilizing the compost. I need to re-trellis this. So that, I am guesstimating that this squash is probably 40 pounds, 35 to 40. I didn't expect it to get that big. I do have some problems with powdery mildew, so I have to be vigilant and cut off those areas. Okay, I'm gonna walk back out of the Garden of Eden and go to the lower levels. I need to harvest some of these. Oh, this weekend, I kid you not, I harvested 5 pounds of beans, fresh beans. This doesn't even count the dry beans that I harvested. I have a beautiful shito pepper bush here. This is borage. It kind of grew here voluntarily because I practiced a method called chop and drop, and I brought stuff from the front yard and also threw it down here because as it decomposes, it provides fertility for the soil. And so that's why there's mulch on here too. It retains water, and also every time I chop these plants, it provides nitrogen and whatever other nutrients for the soil as it decomposes. Okay, I'm gonna climb down very carefully because I don't want to kill my squash and I don't want to die. Oh. Okay, here's another squash. This one's probably 20-25 pounds. We're gonna have plenty of squash and pumpkin for life. This is a Rugosa violina butternut squash. It's an heirloom variety. This is probably another 30 pounder. So it's very sweet when it's the season's okay. Last year I grew some and just didn't taste that good. They didn't sweeten up. Here's a mortgage lifter tomato. So I didn't intend for this. I didn't think the squash would take over, and it like literally covered everything. And I always have to cut the leaves back so that my longyan and other trees have room to breathe. And look, it's even trying to climb onto my plum tree here. Do I ever worry about disease with chop and drop? No, not really. So when I have mildew issues like this, the powdery mildew, I don't drop that. I take these leaves, I put them in a bucket, and I actually feed it to the chickens. And yes, maybe some of the spores come about, but it's minimal. Or I'll just ferment it and hopefully kill it in fermented plant juice. So in that sense, no, I don't worry about it. But if you think about nature, what does a forest do? The trees, the leaves shed, it becomes litter on the ground, it decomposes, and it provides fertilizer for many more years for the tree. So I had corn growing here And I have boysenberries, tomatoes. This is a rocoto pepper, or it's also called manzano pepper. It's a 5 to 10 year pepper plant. This is our Christmas tree, and we use it like 4 or 5 years in a row. So now it's too big to bring back in the house, so we're probably going to try to plant it somewhere on the hill. Hemp down here, it's already on its second flush. So this is the patio. It's messy all the time because I have baby chicks here and a banana. Pomegranate, look at this. This is a pomegranate. I actually took a cutting from someone's tree. It's called Eversweet pomegranate, and I rooted it, and 3 years later, look how big it is. And it's super, super prolific. I have more hemp here. I make my own CBD oil. This is loofah. This is the first year my loofah hasn't done very well. This is my first squash. So I planted it early. Of course, the chickens helped destroy some of them, but yeah. Oh, this, does anyone know what this is? This is a black pepper plant, a vine actually, and it's coming back to life because it got too cold here in the winter and I had to bring it inside the house. So I'm so happy with my greenhouse. This can overwinter in the greenhouse. So it makes, you know, like the ground black peppers that you eat at your dinner table. These are sunchokes. There's a lot of ugly wiring because I have teenagers. They still get in, but you know, what the heck. This is huacatai. I know I'm not saying it right. I usually say huacate, but my Peruvian friend's mom says huacatai. It's called also Peruvian black mint, and it's Tagetas minuta. It has this, I wish you could smell it, this really nice minty smell, and it's used in a lot of seafood dishes. Hello friends, hello Steve. And this is ashwagandha. It's a medicinal herb. This is my lucid gem that I'm trying desperately to save, but it got spider mites on it. Lots more peppers here. We got some corbachi. This is called Tinkerbell, yellow Tinkerbell. And that's a red cheese. This is a kabocha squash. It's a little wilty right now because it needs some water. And this, if y'all have never had fennel, oh here, look, a baby ladybug. I highly recommend you eat some fennel flowers. They're delicious. They have a slight like aniseed flavor, but it's really, really sweet. And I grow this for the bulbs on the green one. This is the bronze, it doesn't bulb, but I grow it for the anise swallowtail butterflies, or other swallowtail, but we tend to have the anise, I think, over here in my area. And this is a lime basil on my green garden tower. This monster, I don't know if you can see, oh, there's a glare. This monster here is a Kellogg's breakfast tomato. Okay, these are all pallet wood and fence wood because we had to do some drainage down here. This is a Frankenstein lemon tree. There is, I don't know how many varieties are on this. So my dad, for those of you who are newer, we call him Grandpa Human. He likes to come over with random tree clippings and he'll just do random grafts like this. And I'm like, Dad, what cultivar? He's like, oh, I forgot. So some of them are successful, some are not. This one is still alive. He's a master at this, but you know, he's unsuccessful too sometimes. So this one died, but this has many varieties. You can see that there's one there, and then this is green. So that means that there are different varieties. And I even have a pomelo grafted to it back here. This is a pomelo graft. It's a little bit of a jungle back here, but, and then this is a pomelo tree with 2 other grafts on it. And last year I bought some scions from the California Clonal Protection Program, or at least I did in February, and these grafts didn't make it. So I'm gonna try again and start and redo it. Oh, actually these green ones my dad did. So this one he did, that didn't succeed, but mine didn't either. It might be weather. Sometimes extreme weather can harm grafts. What zone am I in? I am 10B. But I think my personal philosophy is that zones can make a difference, but you have to look at your microclimate, especially in California. Everyone's got hills. My dad lives 2 blocks away, so the microclimate between my house and his house is different too. He had poppies like a month ahead, way before me, and so my ecosystem here is a little different as well. This is my weird, messy nursery area. It'll change once Guy Human build my Garden of Eden. These are some more hemp plants that I rooted and cloned, and actually a couple of them are cannabis that a friend gave me that's high in CBD. These are some really cool pepper flowers. This is a pepper called ahi mango. So I'm not gonna walk you all the way back here, but it's just kind of a mess, and it's our holding area right now for my plantings, and I have lemongrass back there, and oh my goodness, what are you guys doing? Naughties! What are you guys doing in my turmeric? Oh goodness. Yes, I wish everyone had a Grandpa Human too. Yeah, so this is a turmeric, and these naughties are getting really bold. And usually I kick them out actually by now into the main yard to integrate, but because these spitzes, they're Appenzeller Spitzhauben, they're naturally a little bit more, not flighty, but they're just so active. I want them to get used to me more before they go out there. Here's a little, this is I think a red ricotta pepper. This is again that pepper that's 5 to 10 years old. And down here I have a ginger. I didn't have a lot of rootstock to start over with this year because last year rats totally ate my ginger and turmerics. All right, so we're gonna walk out into the main yard now. And oh, I meant to harvest some stuff for the dinos so you guys can see them. I have a lot of them right now. Okay, let's go see the dinos. Oh, a thing about my loofah real quick. I usually let it climb up my pergola, and we also have a net for hawks, but the way I train it is I tie a string here and let it climb, and then so that way it'll fall through the pergola. That's my rainwater barrel, by the way, the ugly thing. I still need to redo the patio. We just right now don't have the funds or the time, so it's slow, you know, go slow. There's Guy Human admiring his work. We actually have a nice view up there at sunset. And actually down here, this is a volunteer watermelon. I believe it is the ice cream watermelon because I got some from the Heirloom Expo when I went last year, and I spit some seeds out. So I'm thinking that's it because it kind of looks like it. Hi dinos! So this is the main yard, the chicken yard. So when we moved into the property, there was only 3 trees. There was this jujube, a half-dead apple tree, and a persimmon tree. None of this other stuff was here, and it was just hill. There's nothing in the middle, you know, like I said, there's no pomegranate, and we had to put this fence up so the chickens don't go into my patio area. I have some neglected dragon fruit that I need to transplant somewhere. These are jujubes. They're super delicious. This right here in the middle, oh, sorry, distraction. Hi, Squawky. She's our girl that got attacked by a raccoon, and she's all good now. So over here is our gray water pond. So basically water comes out of our laundry room, and there's a pipe down here that pumps the water, drains out here into the gray water pond. It's not lined with plastic or anything like that. It's just lined with rocks, and it drains back into the groundwater, and it keeps the chickens cool actually, and it waters all these plants around it. I do water a little extra when we're having really, really hot weather. And again, that's the hill, huge ash tree. And these structures here are original beds when we first moved in, before we had chickens and before we had a bazillion chickens. So we had to build these cages around it, you know, because we cage our veggies, not our chickens. So these are also pallet stairs, and there's a tropical crunchy guava tree over there, or tight guava is what it's called a lot. More milkweed back here. This is a papyrus I bought at Lowe's on clearance for 75 cents. So here's a Frankenstein apple tree, courtesy of Grandpa Human. There are tons of grafts on here, and every time we have apples, he always tells me to remember which one is good and tasty, and if it's not, I should chop it off. I'm like, I can't keep track, Dad. So anyway, this is kind of right now the messy chicken yard. I haven't cleaned it up in a while. This is a sugar apple tree, or also called atemoya. It's very closely related to the cherimoya. And we have grapes and hops growing up here. We do this mostly for the chickens. These grapes aren't very big or prolific. And I have a banana. We really have to fix this situation. This is the hawk nest has sunk after 6 years. And this is the persimmon tree where they like to hang out. And the ground's wet because I have a mister. And let's go to the coop. Yeah, this is totally unscripted. I don't have like a perfect homestead, and I don't, unless somebody wants to help me or give me money to hire help. It's just me doing it most of the time, and right now Guy Human's doing a lot to help. This is the cockpit, the rooster box. It's insulated so that when they crow, the sound is dampened. I'm trying to do this while I talk. You guys can look at the chickens so you don't have to see me do this. It's to keep the raccoons out because the land has shifted and this door doesn't close as tightly as I would like. So I bar it with bricks, and this also latch. All right, so we're gonna go into the coop. It's hard to get in because they also kick a bunch of crap. All right. I just cleaned it out 2-3 weeks ago, and that's what it looks like now. This is what deep litter is. It means that I have things like mulch, your browns, right? If you know composting, the straw and leaves are your browns, their feathers are the browns, and their poop are the greens. And what this does is, as they drop all the droppings and they get up in the morning and they scratch everything, they turn everything, and so it doesn't smell. This doesn't smell like 50 chickens live in here. There's poop, but it just keeps everything natural and tidy. And then I take this stuff out and put it in the compost to decompose more, or I can put it directly at the base of some trees, and I have very fertile soil. So that's what we did in the Garden of Eden. Each tier we dug out and put like several buckets of the litter in it to fertile up the soil. And this is a cardboard pile that Guy Human is trying to get through. And this is our open compost piles where people bring their scraps to me. We are on Share Waste, and friends who are trying to be more sustainable, but they don't garden or don't have space to compost, they bring it to us. And I just throw it out here and the chickens take care of it. And when I don't want the chickens to eat, I put it in these black bins. So they do the work, and then after a while I just take all this out and put it in my garden. Another Grandpa Human special, this grafted loquat treat. He puts just sweeter varieties. And back here we have the nest boxes. We've had to remodel the coop several times just because of chicken math. Hi. She's broody. Hi. Lacey, come on. And this is Crispy. We have 8 nest boxes, but they do like to fight all over the same one. There's some eggs. Hi, this is Hansel. She was named after Zoolander, but her sisters have since passed, so she's the only one left. And she's always broody. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm happy to explain that. There are other ways to do chicken litter, or the coop litter. Some people do sand, some people do pine shavings. I generally just do a mix of straw and mulch because it's free to me. Most of the time you can get free straw when people have kids' birthday parties, when that's allowed again. I personally, there is somebody who is known and has written a book on chickens, and she is a fan of sand in the chicken coop. I am not at all, because sand, after doing some research, can harbor a lot of disease like E. coli and salmonella, and the only way it works is if you always clean it and wash it. And that can only work if you have maybe like a small coop with those poop pull-out trays, and then you can scoop it like cat litter. But if the chickens are going to be on the ground at all where there's sand, I wouldn't do it. So keep that in mind. This is just a shallow tray that we had, and because it had holes in it, we put tarp, and when the chickens walk in it, keeps them cool. And earlier I put in a huge block of ice with watermelons in it. So yeah, that's the tour of our homestead. Like I said, it's not pretty. One day it will be prettier, but right now it's still always a work in progress because we DIY everything and it's just the two of us. Hi, Pepper. So anyway, thank you everyone for joining in on this homestead tour. On my stories, I asked if there's other questions that you have. Feel free to let me know and I'll try my best to answer. But in the meantime, I got to go back in and do some more food preservation. I got to get to those 5 pounds of beans, and I'm going to blanch them and freeze them. So anyway, thank you everyone. Have a good day and stay cool, please.